So Kashtira has been in Master Duel for 2 days now. Unfortunately, we haven't played much since the day that it launched on the 10th, but we did go 3-0 with the deck, and the deck list that I'm using is the fairly straightforward one. Just 3 copies of like multiple cards for consistency reasons, and some pot cards as well. Let me know if you think I should try to climb to Master 1 in Season 20 with this deck, or if we should switch back to Floowandereeze. But we're going to take a look at a couple of matches, the one match that I played that I haven't posted yet, as well as some other matches that I'll probably play today, so let's go ahead and get into that now. In this matchup here, we have pure Kashtira on my side going up against a Rika deck possibly on the opponent's side. We'll find out. We start off with Special Summon Unicorn, attempt to activate the effect to search for Kashtira Birth. That gets Ash Blossom, which is, I guess, okay. We just don't get the Birth extension into Ogre into an Xyz play, but because a monster effect was activated, we are going to use Unicorn to rip from the extra deck, and that reveals that the opponent is on runick naturia, so we end up ripping one of 2 Huggins out of the extra deck, which might be a misplay because they still have one that they can search Fountain with. But I figure, hey, yeah, you're going to use a monster effect, so let me attempt to rip the second Huggin from your extra deck with Unicorn when you activate a monster effect. If the opponent had a runick card, they could use it now to get the Huggin out of the extra deck and protect it from the Unicorn rip. But of course, off of my Unicorn activation, they're going to attempt to Sunflower negate, use Camellia to mill instead of paying the cost to sacrifice the monsters, and we're going to chain Imperm on the Sunflower. Now this puts me in a really bad spot because I was hoping to use this Imperm on the Huggin that they bring out once they discard and try to search Fountain, but using it here puts me in a bad spot because now if they chain the runick card to search or to bring out the Huggin, now my Unicorn has to go in and banish a different card, right? And they end up retaining one of their Huggins. The opponent opts not to do that, and because of that, we are going to rip the second Huggin out of the extra deck. So this was potentially a misplay by me, but it was countered by the misplay by the opponent of not chaining a runick card. Or they just don't have a runick card. I guess that's also a possibility, but I mean, the odds of that is pretty low. They probably have one. So they end up dumping the Sacred Tree and searching out Blessing, and then Synchro 6ing into the Barkion, which is decent enough. It does shut down our preparations, which, you know, you never want to draw. You always want to search it off of the Ogre, because now Ogre has nothing to search. But it's fine. They end up crashing the Barkion, and we make a stupid mistake here at number 2. We activate preparations in the battle phase, which, you know, because we summon the Unicorn from hand, the opponent is going to use the Camilla effect to bring back the Barkion because we summoned a monster. This is going to allow them to take out my second Unicorn, and yeah, just not good play on my part because I didn't read Camellia effect through fully. So what I should have done was just wait, take the battle damage, and then main phase 2, bring out the Unicorn so that during my turn, I can use Unicorn effect, search Birth. You don't want to bring out Ogre here because then I can't special summon the Unicorn, and Ogre has nothing to search since I already have preparation. So just take the 14 damage and then use the preparations in main phase 2. Don't be stupid like I was. So now all we have is special summon Ogre and try to beat over the Camellia. Of course, because we special summon now, the opponent is going to be able to bring back the Sunflower. But crazy enough, they use a runick card to stop the Ogre from beating over the Camellia, and the banish off of the runick slumber banishes an Ascended of Thunder, a Birth, and a Rise Heart. So that turns on my preparations to bring back out the Rise Heart. We're going to now, obviously in the battle phase, still beat over the Sunflower, and then use Rise Heart in main phase 2. Now the effect cannot be negated by Sunflower. We're going to banish the third Unicorn, and then we're going to Xyz summon into a Shangri-La. This will be brought back with the preparations now, and during the standby phase, we're going to be able to get Fenrir, which is my interruption against what their monster effects might do here, right? Because I can banish face down with it. The opponent does Ash though, so no Shangri-La search for us, unfortunately. But we're going to put the opponent on, you know, you have to have more than Mole Cricket, because Mole Cricket effect will get negated by the Ash Blossom that we drew. So the opponent goes ahead and mills 2 to try to pay the cost for Mole Cricket, and we Ash it, and then that's going to put the opponent on what's your extender. They're going to go ahead and Synchro, or not even Synchro, wow, they're going to link off into Donner, and, you know, I've made a couple of misplays. Now it's the opponent's turn. They're going to attempt to Donner destroy the Shangri-La, and I'm like, that is amazing, because Shangri-La's effect here, if this card would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can detach one material instead. So that's exactly what we do, putting the Rise Heart back in the graveyard. The opponent normal summons Mole Cricket. They've already used the effect during their turn, so we're going to go ahead and preparation special summon out the Unicorn. We draw Ash for turn. Shangri-La is going to special the Fenrir out from the deck now, and then we're going to go ahead main phase 1, activate the Unicorn. So they're going to chain Mole Cricket here, and again, top decking Ash there is kind of crazy, but I don't think it makes a difference difference since we have our big bodies on board now, and we're going to be able to use their effects to mop up the opponent's field and control the matchup with banishing from the extra deck. So the opponent kind of realizes once that Mole Cricket was negated, they have no extension, and we're just going to Fenrir, search another level 7, birth, normal summon that level 7 out, have total control of the match, and they just end up scooping it out. Alright, this Saturday morning is here, and our first match after not playing on the Friday was another win to extend our win streak to 4 in Master rank, and I think 9 overall from Diamond rank, which is kind of crazy. But after winning, I think, my first 3 coin tosses in Master rank, we finally lose a coin toss, which is to be expected. But Kashtira is half decent going second. Fenrir is a good going second card. Obviously we play 3 evenly matched, which is crazy. And my opponent reveals that they are on Kashtira as well, because you wouldn't really play Ogre in any other deck. They start pretty strong. Ogre, search, trap. They have birth in hand to get Unicorn to grab another birth. And this is going to be another, or not another, but just like your first rank 7 Xyz play here. You can make a case to go into Diablosis, but they opt to go into Shangri-Ira, which is probably better because you get Fenrir interruption on field during standby, assuming you don't get impermed or ashed. They set 2 and pass. We anticipate that 1 is the preparations, and they likely have birth in hand as well. They activate Macrocosmos, which again doesn't do anything against us. We want things to get banished, and they activate preparations all in the draw phase, which is interesting. My only thought about this is they wanted to get this Ogre on board early in case it had a monster effect, that they can use the Ogre to look at the top 5 and banish. And in most other matchups that would be, I guess, okay, but this overextension here is going to cost you, because one of the weaknesses of Kashtira that I've talked about before is you are susceptible to board breaks, evenly matched, Raigekis, Dark Holes, etc. Book of Eclipses, these are things that beat Kashtira in the OCG, in the TCG. We're going to start with main phase 1 though, activating Extravagance, drawing into yet another D-Fissure and an Ascendant of Thunder, and we drew Fenrir for turn, which is crazy, drawing double Fenrir here, but because Extravagance banishes face down, it's going to trigger the Shangri-Ira to lock a zone. That's totally fine, because we're going to go immediately into battle phase and use evenly matched. Very odd play here by the opponent to keep birth, because we know they have birth in hand, but the Xyz materials do go to graveyard, so these are recurable with birth, but everything else will get banished. I'm pretty sure birth effect is once per turn. Yeah, so you can't like use this birth, bring back a monster, and then activate your second birth and bring back the other monster, right? Anyways, we're going to start now in main phase 2 with normal summon Fenrir, effect to search, grab Unicorn, and then summon out the Rise Heart here. And yeah, the opponent just ends up scooping because we put them on nothing, and we're going to set up our board, and it's going to be too hard for them to push out of that. To be fair, birth is a crazy card, and you can definitely just like come back with it, but against a fully established board, if you have no way to break it immediately, it's likely too much, so they just end up scooping. We'll take a quick second though to look at what their deck list was. Just a quick glance, not a fan. I'm not a fan of these 2-ofs. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I'd play 3 birth, 1 preparations, 3 evenly matched, obviously. Random Lava Golem, Duster, Raigeki, Mirror Force. Yeah, just 1 random Solemn. It's just like, why? You know, just play the deck for consistency reasons. You'll be much more successful. So before we got to do our errands for the day on the Saturday morning, we were able to hit Master Rank 4, playing a couple extra matches here, losing our next match after the Kashtira Mirror. We're going to take a quick look at what happened here, and then we'll jump into one of the other ones. I'll show you the deck list. It's kind of funny, but we actually win this coin toss, and I think this was my rank up game. Yeah, this was my rank up game, and I'm like, oh, I won the coin toss. I went first. I get to go first. Double Maxi, double birth, and fissure. So I just like pass on nothing and see what the opponent is on, hoping that if my Maxi resolves, I don't get OTK'd and I can play from there. Should have Maxi during the draw phase, but yeah, they're going to Unicorn and then birth and then reveal Rise Heart, and they have Ash for the Maxi, so I'm like, yep, it's not even worth trying to play out because I'm just going to waste my time. So we just end up scooping it up there and lose to a brick, so nothing we can do against that. Go up against this guy. He was attempting to Auroradon combo, and I drew, well, I Maxi'd him in the draw phase, so I learned my lesson from the last match here. And I think he thought that I had Nibiru when I drew an Imperm, and he scooped, which is funny. But yeah, this is an interesting one. So check this out. Double birth once again, okay, and a Unicorn. So this is where like the deck can start to become like a little iffy, right? Like you have a lot of these like bricky cards. So we do Maxi in the draw phase. They go Fateful Adventure, reveal Griffin here, and they're just playing Kashtira for like Auroradon Turbo. They end up discarding an Instant Contact, which is a crazy card. I actually really like this card. They're going to Instant Contact after special summoning Griffin to grab out the Aqua Neos, and then, yep, Xyz into Tomahawk. And this is Tomahawk Auroradon Turbo, right? So detach the materials, get your tokens on board, speed this up. We are going to be drawing basically like half of our deck here if the opponent commits to the full combo. Into Auroradon they go, double tribute to bring out the Mecha Phantom Beast. I drew this Imperm and the opponent, and like my screen lit up after this, right? Because I have my toggle on. And so like I think that was summon 5, right? Because summon 2, Xyz is 3, tokens is 4, and then Auroradon would be 5 actually, right? And then bringing out the Mecha Phantom Beast from the deck would be 6. But yeah, my field lit up and I was like thinking for a second. I'm like, okay, what am I actually going to Imperm here? And then the opponent, like when I passed priority back, they just scooped. Because I think they thought I had Nibiru. So before they could put up any negate, they were just like, he's going to Nibiru me, I'm just going to scoop. And then we're back up on our rank up game here, and this match was actually kind of nutty. So it's yeah, rather interesting. So I think I just lost that last coin toss, right? Because the opponent was going first, trying to go Auroradon combo. And now in this matchup, we lose our coin toss again. And you know, it doesn't feel that bad losing the coin toss with Kashtira, because like I said, you play a number of going second cards, and you play a decent number of hand traps to interrupt your opponent. So on Exo Sister here, usually what you want to do is negate the extender. So that's either going to be the Capsicule or the Mikalis. So they go Capsicule first, and we're going to go ahead and Imperm on the detach to prevent the search for what's likely going to be Martha, and hope that this can shut the opponent's turn down. Otherwise, we have to hope to draw until I can evenly match. So the opponent does indeed end on nothing, which is crazy. So at this point, I'm like, yep, Ash, MAXX, like evenly matched, you know, all of the other cards that are like non-engine for Exo Sister. We start with Special Summon Unicorn, then the opponent MAXXs, and I've talked about this in my first video that I posted. Kashtira is actually pretty good against MAXX. Because MAXX is activated, we're going to Unicorn rip the Zeus, the one of, and then attempt to go for Birth here, and it does bait out the Ash Blossom, so as anticipated, they are sitting on hand traps, non-engine cards, but that's fine because we have Birth in hand already. So we're going to go ahead and activate Birth and activate the Fissure. Now we use Birth to normal summon the Ogre playing around MAXX. Now this is potentially a bit of an overextension. I didn't need to go into Fissure here. I probably could have just left Birth, because if I'm anticipating evenly matched, the Ogre and the Fissure are going to get banished face down anyways. So we're going to go ahead now, battle phase. Look at the top 5 cards. The opponent is going to draw Stella for turn, and then draw Imperm after that in MAXX, and then double packs. So I go ahead and I banish the engine card in the Sophia, meaning that they're going to draw the Impermanence for turn, right? So we attack directly with Unicorn, and then I'm like, main phase 2, do you have it? Yes, you do. Evenly matched, and I'm like, all right, I already know. I'm keeping the Unicorn because my follow-up next turn is Unicorn Search Birth. We have preparations. We know the opponent is drawing an Imperm, and their field was still lighting up. So I was like, oh, what could they have? And then I'm like, oh, Bestial, of course. So this is actually good for me because I'm like, you have nothing left. You're drawing Imperm for turn. You have to crash your Soraneer here. And unfortunately, my preparations is offline because my Ogre is banished face down, and preparations is from banished or hand. Birth is from banished or graveyard, which is why Birth is better. But this is fine. We still have the Ascendant of Thunder, which is a 2700 attack body. They're going to crash Soraneer and dump Lubellion most likely, because you probably don't play a Regained Engine in or any branded cards in your Exo Sister deck. They set the Imperm in the column for preparations, and we're just, I make a mistake here. I meant to summon this first and then attempt to activate this to bait out the Imperm to negate this, to negate the preparations, thinking if I had I drew a Kashtira card for turn maybe, and I can just OTK them. So I should have summoned this first and then activated preparations. They have to like really pay attention to make sure that they see that I'm not activating the effect, I'm just activating the card in order to not get baited to use their Imperm. But it's fine, because I'm like, you're in top deck mode, and I think you have to top deck like Pax or Martha, otherwise you just lose. So they draw for turn and they draw nothing, and we end up taking that match, winning our promotion game, going second against Exo Sister to take it with Kashtira. And just like that, we are now in Master Rank 4.